Okay, so today we are going to make happy donut holes. So it's the happy cake recipe. I love doing all of this nut kind of stuff in the blender because it really makes the consistency nice and light and fluffy. So we have our wet ingredients in here, which I did 3/4 of a cup of duck egg whites because I use the duck egg yolks, so I always have duck egg whites. So I just did 3/4 of a cup of the duck egg whites. 3/4 of a cup of honey, which is just this berry farm honey. I would stay away from clover. It doesn't taste very good as a sweetener. And then about a tablespoon of coconut oil. I used virgin because that's what I had. Vanilla, about a tablespoon of vanilla, and I think that's it there. And then in our dry ingredients, this is 3 cups of hazelnut flour, 1/4 cup of cocoa powder, and then I did 2 tablespoons of this raw Balinese cacao powder. You don't have to do that. You can just use all cocoa powder, whatever floats your boat. And then 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And I'm out of my Florida cell, so I just used this Himalayan. And then an aluminum-free baking soda. So 3/4 of a teaspoon of that as well. So you blend that in here real nice. I just use a whisk to get it all whisked in, so that hazelnut powder should just be really chocolatey looking. And I'm going to start adding this to my blender. I just kind of run it on real low, no top, whatever. And I scoop it in. And it's going to get real thick real quick. Slowly you have to turn up the speed. Lid on and tamper. Flip it up too high. Okay, so once you're done blending, I just kind of scrape off the tamper so I get everything into the bowl, or into the blender. I took a, if you care, sheet of parchment paper and put that on my baking sheet. And I am just going to scoop these on there. I always use a spring scooper. That way everything's the same size. It cooks evenly. And these kind of cook up the shape that you scoop them on. So you want them to look nice and round on top. So they can be kind of close together because they don't spread a ton. But this is great because you don't have to use all those liners. It's less work. They're easy to freeze. You don't have to peel them out of anything. They don't stick. It's nice. So I'm just gonna scoop these on there. We'll find out how many of a batch I'll have going on here. Almost got 24. Getting sloppy. Don't get sloppy like me. Make everything look nice. I keep these in the freezer all the time for snacks, so it's nice when you freeze them looking perfect in case you have to give them away or you don't want things looking crazy. Okay, so that's like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's about 20. And I would say in my container left, I probably have enough room for like 8 more. So I'm going to pop these into my preheated oven. I set my oven for 350 convection. It automatically bumps down to 325. So that's what works for me. And I'm going to put those in the oven for, we're going to check them after 9 minutes, but they can take up to 13. So we'll just set it for 9 minutes. And we'll check them then. Okay, so my 9-minute timer just went off, and I'm going to check these guys. Ooh, look at those fluffy things. Yeah, my toothpick is pretty clean. They're nice and soft to the touch. You know when they're overdone, if you lift one up with a spatula and it's browned on the bottom, they really should be browned on the bottom. They don't have to be cooked that long. So I'm going to take these out. Sorry about my camera work. I actually went ahead and threw in the rest of that batch to know how many it made. And it looks like it makes, that batch made 29 of these. These ones still need a couple more minutes. So I threw them in afterwards. But this is kind of cool. This is what I like to do. I set them on the cool granite right after I take them out. And because they're on that great parchment paper, and I have no lip on my baking sheet, I can just go like that so they can cool off. Haha! They can cool off without a lot of muss and fuss. And in a couple minutes, you can eat those. And they are awesome. These are just super fluffy. I mean, nobody would ever know that this is like a nut flour, because when you blend them up in the Vitamix, they get so puffy and soft like a cake. And all that egg white and that little bit of oil just makes them so nice. So don't overcook them. You don't want them to be brown like on top and crusty. Just make them nice and soft and fluffy. And then see underneath there, it's not too browned. Perfect. Nice, soft, and fluffy. And you can drizzle chocolate on them. You can make your own, you know, whipped cream if you can have cream. But they're just a really good thing to have around the house. So now we know it makes about 29 of these happy donut holes if you're using one of those small springform ice cream scoopers. So that is how you make the happy donut holes. The happy cupcake is exactly the same recipe, and I think it's tweaked from what I have on there. So I will edit it, and have a great day. Bye.